Hello, everybody!
Ooh, ooh.
Welcome to another episode of Take 47.
Oh, it's time.
Oh, it is time.
It's time.
You know, episode 18. It's an absolutely diabolical episode. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Thank you.
Pretty
I came
good,
up with
pretty
that.
good.
It took me a really long time to come up with that.
Oh, you practiced?
Yeah. I was just staring at the mirror over and
Yeah,
over
just
again
in the
before we
mirror?
recorded, and
Oh,
I was
that's
like, diabolical. Yeah.
What?
Was it good?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Today, we are talking about Season 2 of Amazon's show, The Boys. Starring Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, Anthony Starr, and many, many other talented people. This is kind of a first impressions video on just Season 2 as a whole, what we generally thought of the season, and what we hope to see in Season 3. That being said, of course, since we are going to be talking about what we want in Season 3, this will have spoilers.
Whoop, whoop. Spoiler
alert.
Whoop,
Yes.
whoop. Spoiler alert.
If you have not seen Season 2 of The Boys, first off, what are you doing? Like, the finale just came out
It just aired
this past Friday.
Friday the 8th.
Yeah. What are you doing? Watch it.
Why watch The
You're
Boys?
insane. The Boys is easily one of the best shows on TV right now.
Run you about 9 hours, probably, to get to the whole...
Yeah. 8 or 9 hours,
8 or 9 hours.
So, you know, it's a fantastic show, and we are going to be, like, going through the show this season. Spoilers. So, just, if you haven't seen it, get off this video right now and then just watch it.
Watch it
later.
after.
Yeah, watch it later.
Don't forget about it.
Yeah. And then, join us on the discussion. So, without further ado, let us slide into
The Boys
our first
DMs.
impressions. So, so Cole,
Yeah.
what did you think of Season 2 of The Boys?
Season 2. All right. Well, I thought it was really good. I mean, obviously, it was a follow-up. It was a follow-up to Season 1, and they did deliver. I mean, I thought that they were going to be following the comics more closely, but they didn't, and that's okay. Like,
Right.
I mean, I think that every series deserves an opportunity to stray from its source material.
Yeah.
But I will say that I was a little worried that it was going to end up like one of those video game movies that's like, oh, we don't need to follow the canon lore. We can just make our own stuff. It didn't, though.
Right.
Like, they did a really good job with the heroes and the villains and the story. Like, the beats, they're all there. Like,
Yeah.
it all makes sense. And it's all solid. Really solid stuff. And really, really entertaining stuff.
Oh, of course.
I think my only criticism was it moves too fast sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, like, I would have loved to get to know some of the characters more before they died. Like, I think that...
I'm assuming you're referring to Lamplighter.
I'm referring to Lamplighter, yeah. I think that he came and went in, the span of an episode or two?
He was only in 2 episodes, yes. Well, technically 3 if you count, like, the 5-second cameo that he had in one of the episodes when he was talking to Stormfront.
And that's actually a pretty decent chunk of the season when you think about how short the season is.
Yeah.
But, like, The Boys does a really, really good job at making interesting characters. And then I don't think that they give them as much time as they could.
That's valid. I would also argue that that's just The Boys.
That's just The Boys.
Like the Lamplighter,
everyone dies.
Yeah, like the Lamplighter arc served its purpose.
Yeah.
You found out that Lamplighter didn't mean to burn Mallory's kids. You
Yeah.
found out that Frenchie, it was just a span of events that unfortunately transpired where both of them were at fault, and they both have been dealing with that. And then they ended up, of course, finding each other in the Sage Grove episode. And I feel like Lamplighter did everything that he needed to do.
Because it got a lot of build-up. It was just screen time that was short.
He did. And while I do agree with you, because I honestly did like Lamplighter, I didn't think he was going to be a staple character per se, but I thought that when we first saw him, I thought that maybe, just maybe, he would, he'd be with the boys just a little bit longer. Maybe he'd die from, like, Stormfront in the finale or something, or anything like that. But in terms of my impressions, I loved it.
You loved it?
I did. Personally, I know a lot of people are saying that this isn't as good as Season 1, and that's a valid criticism. Personally, I think it was better than season 1 only because it is a natural progression of events, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, but it doesn't have as much, like, espionage, per se, or as, like, the first season did. And I'm like, well, yeah, because we saw that in the first season. Like,
right, you don't want to just keep seeing the same stuff.
Like, when you when you come to a point where, like, you're already exposing Vought a, like, decent amount, and you already killed Translucent from season 1, the only way to go is up.
I mean, Frenchie even flat out says that in this episode. He's just like, he compares it to Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
He's like, always with the same plans. Why don't we just kill him with an AR-15?
Yeah, all you need is an AR-15 and meep no more.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
speaking of Frenchie, I think he actually got one of the better arcs this season.
That's the reason why I love this season so much, because it gave, I think, the perfect amount of screen time for every single character, like main character. We had a character arc with MM when they went to find out who Liberty actually was. You had that nice little touching moment where he
with the typewriter and his dad.
Yeah, the typewriter and his dad, and his fight with Vought. And then a couple episodes later, we have Frenchie and his whole deal.
Serge.
And then before that, rather, we have Butcher and his whole
Lenny.
arc.
Yep.
And we find that out. And then, the last 2 episodes are a little bit more Butcher, and then just everything comes to a head. And I think it's wild to me. Like, what I think is awesome about the show is that, like, none of the characters, in my opinion, feel underdeveloped. In other shows that I have watched, even some of my favorite shows, like, I love Game of Thrones to death, but there were some characters that were 100% underdeveloped. But that's similar to the nature of The Boys. It's kind of like, yeah, everyone's kind of expendable. But that's the funny thing is, like, this show has plot armor. So many characters have plot armor.
Yeah, both of us thought that one of the boys was going to die this season.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the show does an excellent job of basically having, like, a false sense of security, where, for example, in episode 5, when Noir shows up at the house, and MM and Huey are also there, and they decide to fight.
And Butcher's trying to be a martyr and, like, kill himself.
Exactly. And then because there were a couple moments I was like, no, they can't kill Butcher, right?
He was doing some stupid stuff, though. Like, he was throwing himself over all sorts of bombs.
He really was. And I know, like, why, because he doesn't want his bullshit to, infect the others.
Yeah.
His only arc was Becca and all that stuff. But overall, I thought this season was, especially the finale, like, this whole season, for the most part, had me on the edge of my seat, and there were points that I didn't know what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Every time Homelander's on screen, I feel uneasy. I don't know, because he's so unhinged. Like, I feel like one
Homelander
second...
goes really far this season.
He does. Like, you'll have 1 second where, he's, like, this, like, lovable kind of, in quotations, of course, guy, and then, like, a second later, you're like, is this dude gonna, like, laser this guy, like, in half or something?
Because that's a very real possibility every second. You're just like, Homelander could do that. Mm-hmm. He could. Like, he just has to want to. They've showed us that.
Exactly. And
that brings up some really touching scenes with the son.
It does.
Why are those scenes so touching?
Yeah.
Why?
And I think that once again goes towards the writing team and how they're really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason this show is even as interesting as it is because it doesn't make the villains just mustache twirling villains. Like, I want to take over the world with supervillains. No, there's deeper elements. Like, for example, A-Train wants to be in the 7 because he loves the money, because he grew up without
really
it.
Poor, yeah.
Yeah, and he really wants the money. He loves the fame. Stormfront.
He's also an addict.
That's also true as well. Stormfront seemed like a cool person in the first 2 episodes, and for most of episode 3, you really don't. I mean, if you've actually seen the show, you're kind of suspicious. But then all of a sudden she turns into this like evil 100-year-old Nazi.
Dude, Homelander's face when she says white genocide was priceless.
Oh my god, yeah, because he's just like...
He's like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, no, what are you talking about? The show just has so many interesting aspects, especially the scene in episode 7, the cold open that started the whole thing.
Cold open in episode 7.
Was was when the guy was being brainwashed by Stormfront's constant media coverage of Stormfront.
Yeah.
And he ends up shooting the store clerk because he thinks he's a suit terrorist.
Yeah.
And like the show has like heavy themes disguised as a superhero show.
Yeah, it becomes pretty relatable in like a world sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the soups start to become like that. Oh gosh, the soups start to become like a world police force, right? Yeah. And then it's like the problem of, okay, they're too powerful. Maybe we ought to, you know, take away some of their power. And then it's okay. The soups are going to fight back now that you're trying to take away their power.
Exactly.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I thought that was a very interesting plot point as well. Was in the beginning of the finale when they were like, yeah, so basically Compound V is now authorized to all law enforcement, ICE and all that stuff, and I was like, what?
They were going to give it to immigration services.
Yeah, it was...
That's scary.
Yeah, 100%. That was ridiculous, and I'm glad that it didn't happen. But there is one thing that did kind of irk me, that was...
Oh, all right, yeah, tell me.
Because like the rest of the show, the rest of the season... I feel like has a really good pace. I know some people are like it's slow. I disagree. I feel like
I thought it was quick sometimes.
I thought that you know, since when are people? I don't understand why people don't like slower moments, because then it makes the like fast, exciting moments way more impactful.
No, yeah, the show is dynamic. It has moments where it takes its time, and it has moments where it goes really fast.
I get it. Like you want to see Homelander just laser everyone in half. That's fun. But that's it. Like, it's not going to last with you that much.
Can I just say, Anthony Starr does such an amazing job of showing dissociation on his face. Like,
yes.
when Homelander wants to just laser everyone, he has a very specific face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Anthony Starr is brilliant. Brilliant work.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, he is.
Like, I was thinking about it when we were watching the finale. Like, a part of me was like, if I was ever on the set, right, and I was acting alongside Homelander, like, as an extra or anything, I would be terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that dude in that suit...
He's so commanding.
He is.
He has like, a presence that just terrifies
honestly.
And commands respect from everyone around him.
Yeah, Homelander is...
Not necessarily a good thing, but...
No, he's
a good thing for him.
He's so good, though. He's so... All these actors are fantastic.
Yeah, I think they chose the right cast.
Yeah, and definitely. I also, like, genuinely love how perfectly written the characters are.
They all feel very human.
I agree. But,
especially MM.
Oh,
I think MM is one of the most human characters
I agree.
In the whole show. He has such a simple goal, right? Yeah. It's just, I want to see my family.
Yeah. But referring to all of those, you know, really good things, I was slightly, in the beginning at least...
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the church arc with the Deep.
I
didn't. Of course, knowing now, I get why it was a thing. At the same time, I also think at the beginning it was a little too slow.
It was that they were just using it as comedic relief. Because that's what the Deep's character has turned into.
Absolutely. And while I'm not against it, it really annoyed me in episode 4 when they were showing the women, because he was trying to find like his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And they kept showing clips of these random ladies, and I was just like, okay, some of these just really aren't funny. What's the point of this? And then like only to find out later it was just his arc, I feel like, was kind of wasted, and it was just so A-Train can get back into the 7 and expose Stormfront.
Yeah.
Like, A-Train hijacked the Deep's arc.
A-Train absolutely hijacked the Deep's arc, and I think that's what's supposed to be funny about it. But
he's a loser.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It leaves a lot to be desired from the church, though. Especially when they waste the actor that they got to be the head of the church.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that is a recognizable actor. And, I mean, I'm going to sound ridiculous now. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But I recognize the face.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize that, like, he's a pretty famous guy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you think that, okay, that's going to figure in really heavily. And
Yeah.
it kind of does, but it's not the main crux of the season.
No, it's not.
And so I just hope that they bring it back in season 3.
I think they will. I don't think it's entirely eliminated. But I don't know. I thought that arc could have been handled a little bit better. Did it detract from my enjoyment of the show? Absolutely not. I still looked forward to every single episode. I still, thought that every episode was exciting no matter what. Because, like we were talking about, even the slow moments are so interesting. Like, I love seeing the small moments between Homelander and Ryan, or Homelander and Becca, or Becca and Butcher, or just all the characters having these unique conversations. I love that stuff. It just increases the world building. It makes everything have a little bit more weight to it when push comes to shove.
You know what else I think makes those moments really good?
What?
Is that The Boys does a great job with being so outlandish, so ridiculous sometimes, that, like, you can genuinely imagine anything happening.
Yes.
Right? Like I never lose my suspension of disbelief because I just know that anything could happen at any moment. I'm not like, oh, no, they can't do this because of this. I'm like, shoot, I mean, that happened. It just happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything can happen.
That's kind of what happens.
In the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just have to go on that ride.
Yeah. It's unpredictable. Because, I mean, when you have superheroes that can kill regular people in a split
like
second,
what do you do?
Like, you kind of just, like, if something happens, it's like, oh, okay, wow. And there are a lot of moments in season 2 that I was genuinely I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was nervous. And, I mean, like we were talking about, every time, Homelander was on screen, it was just like, like, get off screen, please. In a good way.
Yeah,
like, please
exactly.
leave.
And I think that would be my suggestion to any new viewers watching The Boys, is just lose yourself to the show. Let yourself get absorbed with the ridiculousness that's happening.
Which I honestly don't even think is that hard to do.
I really don't. Like, it doesn't take that much focus.
No. The show does a really good job of hooking you. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to commend The Boys, too, because usually when season 1 of a show is as good as it is, for example, like Stranger Things, and stuff like that, the second season has a lot to live up to, and sometimes it can fall flat. I know a lot of people say that, like, for example, season 2 of Stranger Things is kind of a little weak
when you compare it to 1 and 3.
Yeah, and then there are people who say, like, season 2 of, like, Game of Thrones is definitely, like, the worst season, which I personally disagree, but whatever.
I can't really speak to that yet.
Not yet, no. Not
Not
until
yet.
I show you.
Yep.
And I don't think that this season of The Boys suffered from that. I think that it really did genuinely just continue the story in a natural way. It didn't really feel that forced at all, other than the Deeps arc, and even then, that was just a minor complaint for me. I thought it was going to go the route that Stranger Things did, where it would split all the main characters up, and then they only come together at the end, and I'm glad that that wasn't the case. Because sometimes that annoys me, because, of course, some arcs will be better than others if you have certain characters here and other characters here.
No, the boys need each other. They push their own arcs forward.
And that's what makes it so good. It's like they're all so good together. They have so much history. And it's great.
I have a question, though.
What?
Should we trust the reviews that this season is getting?
That's a very good point that you brought that you just brought up. For those of you who don't know, first off, I don't know how you're still listening to this when we gave a spoiler warning and we're just spewing out spoilers.
Go watch the season
But
already.
if you don't care about the spoilers or whatever, and you just want to hear our thoughts about it, so be it.
We still love you.
The show was review bombed, and for the dumbest reason ever.
Just because it was releasing weekly, right?
Yes. And people were genuinely upset about it, and were giving the show, they were giving the show 1-star reviews.
Yeah. Not binge culture.
I think that is absolutely unfair to the creators of the show. I get it, you're mad at Amazon, but giving the show bad reviews also affects the creators. Like, if I remember, I forget who, but it was one of the head, I think, directors of the show. It might have been Eric Kripke, I could be wrong.
Did he say something?
Yeah. Where he was like, it is a little disheartening to see 1-star reviews for a show that everyone seemingly loves.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that would make sense, because when the first 3 episodes were released and suddenly you're like, all right, here we go, it's live, and you see a bunch of 1-star reviews, you're like, whoa, what did we do wrong? And then you look at the reviews and it has nothing to do with the actual show. It's the publisher. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's got to be really annoying.
It is. Review bombing
with.
is childish. If you're one of the people that gave this a 1-star review because of it being a weekly episode or episodic show, you're a child. Like, I don't understand why you would do that, because what is your point? Your point doesn't come across.
We should call this
at
Hot
all.
Takes 47.
Honestly, I don't think it's much of a hot take, honestly. I really don't think it's much of a hot take. Seriously,
No.
it's childish.
Yeah, don't review bomb.
Yeah, all these actors put all their work in there. Everyone behind camera, on camera, put all their work into the show. And the show is really good. And if people are going to see that the show is 3 stars, when the show, in my opinion, is a 4.5, close to a 5, like...
Really solid stuff.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
But people are going to be like, oh, well, the show's 3 stars. I don't know if I want to watch a show that has 3 stars.
Yeah,
like,
so our official suggestion, I guess, would be don't trust the reviews.
Yeah, don't trust them at all, because...
Be wary. I mean, go ahead, read them, right? Like, if you're a person that reads reviews, go ahead, read reviews, see what people are saying. I'm sure that there's some real ones in there,
Yeah.
but recognize that, you know, it kind of got the short end of the stick.
Yeah. But on that same vein, though, did you personally like watching them every week, or would you prefer what season 1 was and was just an all-out binge?
You know, I gotta say, this might not be the popular opinion, but I like weekly episodes.
Thank you. I agree.
I think it gives me more time to sit with the episode and think about it, and then when I start the next episode, I have a more solid opinion.
I completely agree. I mean, on episode 7, when in the courtroom, all of a sudden everyone's head started exploding.
Yeah.
It was you, me, and Griffin for the rest of the week just theorizing.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we
we
had
wouldn't-
plenty
yeah,
of theories.
we
as to
wouldn't
what was
have
going on.
that.
None of us got it right.
No.
Well, Griffin did say in like episode 2 that Stormfront was a Nazi, and we were like, yeah,
Yeah.
and she was.
Oh, 100%. But like, I love the excitement of waiting. You know, the anticipation of having that, because like if it was just an all-out binge, it wouldn't be a week's worth of theorizing. It would be like 5 seconds worth of theorizing. We'd be like, whoa, I can't believe you did it. Watches next episode and literally finds out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, it was that. Cool. Like, it wouldn't...
I mean, it also just gives you more time to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly,
you watch it in one sitting, and sure, maybe you get a better understanding of the story in one fell swoop, but
Netflix
then you
spoiled
gotta
us.
wait even longer
Yeah.
for the next season to come out. Please don't take like 5 years, please.
Yeah,
don't do
pretty pleased with the cherry on top.
Don't pull a Rick and Morty. Don't do it.
So I know I'm not actually in this episode, but
Whoa, Griffin!
I just wanted to say, like, also when it comes to weekly things, like, am I not speaking high enough?
Yeah.
Hi, Griffin. Hi, mic check. Here, I'll just sit next to Cole.
Episode
So,
rat. No,
when it comes to weekly episodes, like you said, it gives you more time to digest the episode. Like, in comparison to binging it, it's harder for me to, like, actually remember specific things more because it all happened at once.
Right.
So it's like, it's more like watching a movie, a really fucking long movie. Like, sorry, am I allowed to swear?
No, you're fine.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
all
not
right.
a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Or get demonetized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but, so it does help me digest it better, though, because, like you said, sorry, I didn't fucking rehearse this. I just
No,
really
it's
wanted to
okay.
bring-
It's okay.
Hashtag real thoughts.
Yeah,
Real thoughts,
yeah,
man.
this is real candid moments on the fucking Take 47, Angel 47. But like, you get to actually think about it more over the week, so it actually helps you, like, you know,
Digest it.
yeah, and remember it.
Yeah.
like, because I have a terrible memory, and so like watching everything all at once, I can't I can't remember any specific episode from season 1, like, or
Right.
anything like that, because we just binge watched it. So it was like, I remember like most of it, but I don't remember where everything fit into place
Right.
as well as season 2, where like we got to see it every week and like one episode every week. Well, 2 technically. Well, now we watched.
It was the first 3.
Yeah. So
Or 4,
it was still a lot easier to digest with watching it weekly. Anyways,
Yeah.
I will leave you to it.
No, thank
back
you.
to my
Bye,
couch.
spirit.
Thank you, Griffin, for that absolutely fantastic point of view. I do completely agree, though. Like, I do, honestly. Stop being impatient, y'all.
Stop
Like-
being impatient.
Just properly digest it. Appreciate the moments in each episode more, instead of just, I want to see what happens, I want to watch the whole show in 5 seconds, and then be annoyed that you have to wait a whole year.
You know something? I'm gonna change gears a little bit, but you know something that I'm actually kind of proud that the boys did
Oh?
is like in the first, I think maybe episode 2 or 3, they had the whole girls get it done thing, right?
Right.
Right. And they were definitely just making fun of what companies do in real life. You
Right.
know, like, yeah, Pride Month, and that's definitely just an excuse to put a rainbow logo on. Great. and then they have this girls get it done thing, and it's, you know, just a big PR stunt with Stormfront, who we know is not very nice as she seems.
No.
And it's
Nah.
with Queen Maeve and Starlight, who both have expressed their distaste with Vought. So it's they're lying to people, and we're like, you know, this feels icky, gross. And then at the end, right when I had forgotten about it, God, they get the 3 most badass women. They get Kamiko,
Yep.
they get Starlight in her jean jacket, not
Hey.
even in her girly booby costume.
Nope.
And then they get Queen Maeve, who is in her costume, but it's like powerful for her.
Yeah.
Because she's taken back the, you know, she kind of became
What a
pretty
great
bad. And, but,
character moment, too.
Yeah, it meant something there.
Yeah.
For once I was like, alright, you know what? This actually is a pretty solid way to show that girls get it done.
And it wasn't forced.
It wasn't forced.
Like,
it was
at
like,
all.
that's a great moment. This is,
Yeah.
these 3 women hate that girl because, you know, she sucks and she's a Nazi.
Hey, Kraut.
And-
like, that was awesome. Like, I was like, whoa! Like, all of us were like screaming. It was great. That's so awesome. And
Yeah.
like, I've always loved Maeve too. Like, I really did like her in the first season. I was like, oh, she's just in too deep at this point.
She really is. She's trying to dig her way out this season.
I really liked that they went that direction with her, though. Like, because I feel like last season, you know, she was, like, the idea was, like, planted, but it was never, you know, acted upon, which is fine. Of course, you know, the season's build up and all that stuff. I'm just glad that they continued it and didn't really put her on the back burner for this season.
Yeah.
I do wish that we saw more of Noir.
I was just going to bring up Black Noir.
Like, I like Noir.
Black.
Yeah, Black. Good old Black. Like, he's
He's an
He's
intriguing character.
yeah, because he's not really a bad guy. He's more just like,
He's there.
I don't know. He's just kind of like Edgar's attack dog.
Yeah, we see he has a camera right in his eye.
No, it was on his chest.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I thought
it was a
in his
little.
eye.
No, it was on his It was like a little camera on like his breast.
Totally missed that. But okay, so he has a camera and Edgar's watching through it, right? He has like a tablet.
Yeah,
And he can talk
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
a cute little like iPad specifically for Noir.
Yeah, Noir
it's
is like
just
a little flip phone
Yeah.
that he pulls out and he gives it to
Oi,
Butcher,
Mrs.
I think.
wants a word with
yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
a funny scene.
That was a funny scene.
But like, what the heck is going on with
I
him?
wanna know
He has
more
a
about
tree
him.
nut allergy?
Okay. Can we just talk about how the boys is so good at building up like how really powerful a character is or like how badass they are,
Just to
and then
have
giving
one
them the lamest
Yeah.
like Wonder Bread weakness.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Black
like,
Noir is literally beating the absolute life out of Starlight.
the whole show, he's been blown up like 20 times now.
Yeah.
And the one thing that did him in was an almond joy.
Like, because Queen Maeve shoves
Yeah.
it in his face, and she just goes, "He has a severe trina allergy."
Yeah. And Starlight is like, was that an almond joy?
And what does it do to him? It puts him in an actual coma.
Yeah.
They say they're like, we don't think there's any brain damage,
Yeah.
but he's completely
Yeah.
unresponsive.
It's like even in season 1 with A-Train, he's super fast, and what does him in? A heart attack.
A heart attack.
Homelander is literally Homelander. He's invincible. He's Superman. What
Mommy
can't
milkers.
what can't he see through though? Zinc.
Oh
like-
yeah,
Like
I was
honestly,
talking about.
like
I was talking about something.
well, yeah, and he also has a weakness with MILFs, I guess.
That was the most disgusting scene
He-
in the first episode. I think it was. When
Oh
he was
my God,
actually
when he-
lapping up the breast milk.
And then when Ashley walked in and was like,
Homelander.
and he's like, Ashley.
Oh wow!
Well, that whole moment
I
too
was
with
cringing
with
so hard.
Doppelganger, when like
Oh,
he
yeah.
had Doppelganger turn into Stillwell
for
was
an extra
just
$1,000. Oh wait, no,
No, you're talking
that
about
was
Gecko.
You're talking about Doppelganger when he was disguised as
Stillwell.
Stillwell,
Yeah.
and then even as Homelander.
Yeah,
That
like
was great.
it.
That was great.
The show is just a tendency to really just give all these characters the lamest weaknesses, or like they get knocked out in the most lame way possible, and I love it. Because it's so fun. You
It is
know,
fun.
you're expecting like this big fight, and Stormfront gets taken out by a kid. Like, and it's great. Like it's never like it's never
Forced.
forced. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like weak writing that like Homelander is about to kill Butcher and then suddenly like someone throws a Twix at him and he's like, chocolate. Like, no, it's not some stupid like forced thing. It's been kind
the
of
most
hinted at.
powerful
Yeah.
people in the world. Of course, they're gonna have
Yeah.
a little chink in their armor.
Yeah, because like
You
the
just gotta
Almond
find
Joy thing wasn't just shown up in one episode. Like we saw Noir throw out an Almond Joy, like stay away from the Almond Joys, and
Yeah, I was wondering why Huey and Starlight were talking about it so much in that.
Yeah,
one
like the
episode. She's
almond
like, oh,
joys-
it's my favorite candy.
yeah.
I'm like, what
So it
does
was like
this- are they
planted in the back of your
sponsored,
head.
or-
Yeah,
Is this like a Fresca thing?
Yeah.
Or...
we still don't know what's up with Fresca.
I-
We really don't. What's the deal
Want a
with Fresca?
Fresca?
Like it's so weird.
I mean, I guess
Um,
it's just a cult mind control tactic, but like it clearly does something because we see characters turn it down. You know,
I
they're
mean, the
like,
fact that it's just bad. I
Yeah.
mean, Edgar was just like, it's bad. Like, horrible stuff, dude.
horrible stuff.
So, I guess towards, like, the conclusion part of this whole thing, what do you want to see in Season 3? Just after seeing, all of this transpire, after seeing, everyone end up where they are, which, actually, we didn't even talk about this. Congresswoman Newman being the one who's been popping heads left and right on the show. What a shocking moment, because
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming until the end.
No.
When she was on the phone with Alistair.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's her.
because I genuinely thought the whole time it was Alistair. And even for most of this episode, I still was convinced, because when he had that meeting with Edgar, he was like, you need a new speedster now that Shockwave's gone. I'm like, it's totally you.
Yeah.
But no, it makes sense because she was there the whole time. She's been in the show. She was just like the Almond Joy.
She was just like,
She was just planted, and it was
in
just...
plain sight.
Yep, and you thought she was just like an AOC, like, stereotype, just trying to expose Vought.
I think it speaks to, like, real politics, though, doesn't it? That, like,
Yeah.
we can just have someone that we all trust in plain sight, and then they get into office, and then their true intentions show, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what was their
Or, like,
plan all
manipulating the American people.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in Episode 4, when, like, you see Homelander painted on a barn with a Confederate flag as his cape instead of
That was
an
really
American
funny.
flag.
That was very funny.
It's so true. Like, the amount of, like, racist Christians that love Homelander and Stormfront and stuff, and it definitely speaks volumes about real life right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in regards to season 3, now that we know all this stuff, and now that we know that Huey is currently, unintentionally of course, unbeknownst to him, working with the devil herself.
Yep.
We don't know if Butcher's really going to be with Mallory and her task force. We know that Kimiko and Frenchie are now, I'm assuming, dating and are happy. MM is back with his family. Homelander is losing his mind and masturbating on top of a building.
It was
saying,
really hot.
saying I can
really
do
hot.
whatever I want. Now that we see all
That
these
tight
places,
Anthony Starr booty.
yeah, I mean we got Starlight, A-Train, and Maeve are now like in the 7.
Black Noir still in the 7 technically.
Black Noir's still in the 7, but he's still suffering from that almond joy.
A-Train, Homelander, Black Noir, Queen Maeve, Starlight. So they need one more. Or am I
I
miscounting
thought they need
one?
2. I thought they need 2.
Oh
more.
yeah, I only counted 5.
Yeah.
Like they needed one more. Yeah, okay, so they
Yeah.
need 2 people. Does that mean that we're going to see 2 new heroes in
We could potentially see
season
2
3?
new heroes
Because they're
because
not taking the deep back. They're clear about that.
no, I love how he literally just walked away from his character arc.
Yeah,
that's what I love. Like
the deep is not supposed to win. Like
no, at this
they're
point,
not going to give him a win.
yeah. So knowing all of this, what do you want to see in season 3?
I'm actually really excited to see Butcher without a goal. Because this season ended, his wife's dead. That was the goal at the end, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end, yes, I'm gonna get like all of my charges removed, which happened. Yes, I'm gonna make sure everyone in the boys is safe. Yes, I'm gonna take down some soups, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna have my wife back. And that's gone.
He was so close.
That's just a non-starter now.
yeah.
So
his entire story
where
is done.
is he going now?
Um,
Is he just going to work for Mallory because he's good at it?
he's got nothing else to do.
He's got nothing else to do? Like,
Yeah.
does he even want to see the boys now? Like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen with him? Is it going to be something with his brother and his family? Are we going to get to see that develop?
I'm curious to see like what event is gonna
Pull him
kick
out.
all the boys back into gear
Yeah.
and have them all unite
Yeah,
again.
because right now they're split up. They're done.
I think it's gonna have something to do with Huey's mom. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
because they were
got to be
talking
some.
about that in
The
this episode.
fact
They were
that
talking
she
about
just
Billy
up and
Joel.
left, and he was like, it's suddenly like an alarm went off. I feel like
Do you
there's
think
more to
she's
that.
a soup? Because
I
in the
was thinking
comics,
that.
he was a soup,
Yes,
And
that
he's
is
not.
true. No.
and his dad's not.
Um,
So maybe his mom is.
So, I mean, it could very well be. She could absolutely be a soup. It's a very interesting plot point that was hinted at the end of the season. So I would like for that to be addressed. I really want to see where they're going to go with Homelander, because Homelander was
Has
already
also lost everything.
He was already kind of like, hey, I run the 7 in the beginning of season 2, and
Yeah.
like was already kind of just a little bit more arrogant than he was in season 1. But now that he quite literally has no one, Stormfront is
Gone.
a stump.
Yeah. Just a torso.
Maeve and Starlight
Hate him.
both hate him and have like dirty laundry, if you will, on him. And
He's got Noir. They seem friendly. But like,
I guess, but in like a purely professional, like
Um,
not being a friend. He doesn't have his son anymore.
Yep. Stan Edgar absolutely hates him.
He's backed into a corner, and he has no one but himself, because he already killed Doppelganger. He killed everyone that kinda resembled a relationship with him, or he lost everyone.
But
like
hey, now he can do whatever the he wants, right?
that's
what
the
he
problem.
thinks.
That's the problem. Like, what is he gonna do?
What's he gonna do?
Because I mean, he said it too. He said, "If you leak that, I'm gonna kill everyone and everything."
yeah, and she was like, "Good. At least then no one will love you." So that is
That's
the weakness, right? Is
Yeah,
that
if
Homelander
he
will
loses
do anything for
the love
fans.
of the people.
Yeah.
Which is why, of course, when we see it when he's at the protest and he lasers everyone.
In his imagination.
Yeah, but
because-
even when he's done lasering everyone, he still is like, "What have I done? I just I can't stand having people not like me." Mm-hmm. He needs that constant validation, and what happens if he doesn't get that constant validation? And they have that nice little leverage, if you will, just hanging over him. Like, I feel like he's gonna be unhinged to the point where I feel like Homelander doesn't have to go. I feel like either this upcoming season or the next season, Homelander will bite the dust. I assume, because this in the boys' fashion, he will not go down, obviously, without a fight. Oh. And I feel like we're going to lose a couple people. And that'll be a really, really terrifying thing to see. I hope that they actually go in a good direction with Homelander. I want it to be a natural reason for the boys to be roped back into Vought and all of the crazy antics going on.
They've got a really good setup.
They do.
They have a lot of clear starting points for characters to start a new arc. And you know what? Not only do I hope that they're going to do well with it, I trust them to do something great with it.
I agree. Because they don't have to really... Because it didn't really... Well, I mean, it did end on a cliffhanger, but not as much of a cliffhanger, I feel, as season 1. Because, I mean, the last line was Homelander going, "I'm your dad." Yeah, and then that's what it ended.
That was a crazy season ending. This one was a bit more of a lull. You know, they wrapped up a bit more things, still raised some questions.
Well, yeah, because now it's like, okay, Huey is literally working with Newman.
Yeah, but we can see that this is an end of a chapter, right? Like, like if this was split up into like book chapters, we would see that like we are moving on to a different storyline completely now. You know?
Yeah,
goals are changing.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, for me, I want to see more of Noir. I want to see. I'm really interested to see where Homelander is going. I cannot wait to see everyone back together again because they're all just. Every single character on this show is incredibly mesmerizing to watch. Like,
agreed.
Literally every time Butcher says something, I'm automatically like, "You're awesome." Every time I see Homelander, I'm like, "You scare me." Every time I see Stormfront, I'm like, "I hate you." And every time I see Frenchie and MM, I'm like, "You guys are so adorable."
Yeah, I love MM.
Like MM, like Frenchie really did get quite a glow up from the first season.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like obviously go as far as to say like Frenchie was a underdeveloped character in the first season.
Well, no, he was, but like purposefully.
Yeah, but he wasn't unlikable. You just thought he was just like this druggy
weaponsmith. Yeah,
yeah, and he just had like a slight charm that he just ended up kind of liking Kimiko. But then in this season, like he's Betty White from the Golden Girls. Come on, like of course I'm Betty White. Like it's great. I love the direction that they're going with the show, and I just hope that they can continue that momentum. I also hope that the show doesn't become something like The Walking Dead, where it becomes ridiculously stale and becomes literally just The Walking Dead.
Like, I hope that doesn't happen either. But let's not think about that for too long, because it won't happen, because The Boys is awesome.
The Boys is incredibly fun. If you've made it this far and still, you're unfazed by the spoilers, but you do want to check out the show, by all means, highly recommend you do. I haven't been this invested in a show personally since Game of Thrones, so
oh wow, high praise.
It very high praise. I don't like a lot of shows. I'm very picky. But yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm coming from in terms of season 3. Just hopes. I would like, I'd like to see all those things. But what about you? What would you like to
see in season 3?
As a whole? Just
well, like I said, I want to see where Butcher goes now that he doesn't have a goal. I want to see Huey get stronger and more confident, because that's kind of what they've been leading to here, especially with him standing on his own 2 feet, as he puts it. I want to see. Honestly, I want to see. This is going to sound weird. I want to see more religion with Starlight, because that was a big part of her character in the comics, and I feel like they've been neglecting that a little bit.
Right.
Like, her motivation was that she was a little Christian youth, and now she's coming to terms with, like, oh, I don't really want that. Right. And I saw a glint of that when her mom gave her the new cross in this episode, and I was like, ooh, like, there's actually some family dynamics here that I'm seeing. I like that. That
and
fleshes
the
out the character.
Wears it at the end.
Yeah, so I think that maybe if we just let a little bit more of that show, that would be really cool. I want to see so much. I want to see how they're going to end the parallel between Butcher and Homelander. Because those are, like, opposite end of the same spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it feels like they've been leading up to... Because at the end of every season... Sorry, it's not like we've had that many. At the end of both seasons, there is a confrontation between the two of them.
It's so good.
It's so good
Every time.
because neither one of them makes an attempt on each other's life. They just look at each other and they're like, hey, you can't do it. I know you want to kill me right now, but you can't do it. And it's just this unspoken thing of like, I'm going to take this kid. I'm going to walk out of here. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
And we know that they're going to meet later. So I guess I just want to see that.
What a way to drop the mic, too. Butcher, like, picking up the kid and walking so close to Homelander.
Yeah.
And then just dipping.
Yeah.
He's just like, say bye.
Walks right by him. I thought Homelander was going to, like, grab onto Butcher or, like, rip his arm off or something.
There was a part of me for a split second, and I think that was intentional with Homelander, just the way he's very expressive.
Very expressive.
I thought for a second he didn't care. And
Yeah.
he was gonna... I wouldn't say kill Butcher, because that would have been insane, and I would have cried. But maybe just, like, fly over to Butcher, shove him out of the way, and just take Ryan
the
and
kid
go.
again, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, it's... What a show. What a show.
Indeed.
Definitely the most fun on TV right now. But yeah, that is...
Those are our thoughts on The Boys.
Thoughts on Season 2 of The Boys. Thank you all so much for joining us for about a solid 46 minutes.
Oh, wait. Griffin, any last thoughts? All right. Thanks so much for watching.
More black.
More
Yes,
Black
more Black. We want to see more Black Noir. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, we will see you on the next episode of Take 47. Bye, guys.
Boop, boop.